Hey everybody, welcome back to LMB Outdoors. Today we're going to be working on my truck. It's a 2014 F150, putting a set of rear brake pads on it. So y'all come along and enjoy. Hope you get something out of it. Here we go. So I done went ahead and taken the tire off. So first step, you got to get the tire off. Here's your caliper for the back here. The tools you're going to need, ain't many of them. You're going to need a little pry bar or a flathead screwdriver to pry with, 13mm wrench, C-clamp to press that piston back in the caliper, and of course your brake pads. And for everybody that's like, oh, you're doing it dangerous, and everybody that's worried about my safety, there is a jack stand underneath it. So let's get started. So on the back here, you got a 13mm bolt that holds your caliper onto your slides, where that caliper will slide back and forth. You want to take them off. They should come fairly loose. If they want to spin, if the slider wants to spin, most of these are hexed or has two flat sides where you can get a set of pliers or wrench in there to hold this slider. But right now it's wanting to do it all right. So that one was a little more snug. So you're going to take these bolts out, set them to the side. This is where your pry bar comes in. You may need to pry this caliper up a little to get it to come off. So there's your piston right here. You see how it's almost extended all the way out. We're going to have to push that back in all the way. So when we put the new pads on, they'll be sticking out here farther. That'll have to be pushed in more. So to do that, you're going to take one of your old pads off. It was getting pretty low. I don't know if y'all can see that too good, but it was getting pretty low. So I'm going to take the old pad and stick it in here so I'm not pressing directly on the piston. We're going to get your C-clamp on here. It's hard to do it with one hand while you're holding the caliper. You don't want to let your calipers dangle by this rubber hose. You can cause that rubber hose to become bad prematurely by letting the caliper just sit here and dangle. These hoses do go bad occasionally, and they resemble a caliper sticking, because what it is that hose, as you press your brakes, the fluid can press through the hose to your caliper, but inside that hose it collapses because of the rubber is degraded, and it'll pinch it off, so that pressure's still held on the caliper and the fluid can't go back. So when that happens, you hit your bleeder, and if your rotor will spin, then you know that it's either the caliper or the hose. Most of the time it's always good to just change both the caliper and the hose out. We're not having that problem, but to keep from having that problem, we try to always hold the caliper, or either get you a bungee cord, zip tie, hold it up somewhere. So just take your C-clamp. Now there's one step that I didn't show you, and I will show you in just a minute. I've already looked, but on camera I'll show you here in just a second. Before you do all this, you need to make sure you got room for all the excess fluid that's pushing back up through your lines in your brake master cylinder reservoir. Alright, so you see that's pressed back in. And we're just going to kind of set this up here where it's not being hung by the weight of that caliper. We're going to get our other pad off. Ooh, that one was already getting to the metal. I don't know if y'all can see that on camera. So yeah, I'm glad we're changing these out. I didn't even hear it. Move up front and I'll show you what I'm talking about. So on your brake master cylinder, you need to make sure you got enough roomage in your reservoir. So when you press that caliper back there like we just did, it's going to put more fluid back in this reservoir. And you need to make sure you got enough. Here's a little thing that a lot of people do. Even shops do it when you take your vehicle in to get it serviced, checked on, annual inspection. They'll top off your brake fluid. Well, that's all well and fine, but when it comes time to do a brake job, now you got to evacuate some of that brake fluid, or if not, it's going to boil over. So if I know I don't have any brake problems, I never add fluid, because I know when I go to do brakes, it's probably going to boil over. I always take my cap off because they can be a little pressurized. You're trying to push that back out. You don't want to blow any seals on your reservoir, because remember, folks, this is all plastic. And you can bust a seal, break something. So I always take the cap off, just set it up here out of the way, and leave it off. And there we go. So I've already got the caliper pressed back in. Okay. So we're going to go back here and finish putting these brake pads on. All right, I got my new pads. And this is the time where if you buy the kit that has all the hardware and the slides and all that, these slides are fine to me. I don't really care about that. If you got some grease, you'll grease them up. Not the pads, just your slides. I'm not worried about all that. I'm just doing a quick brake job real quick. Just something to show y'all. So you got little grooves on your pads, and you got where they slide right here. So you're gonna put that in there. You're gonna come to that one. Now, that pad is on there. Now don't go in there and make mistakes and stick them in there the wrong way and have it metal to metal. You don't want that. Always make sure your pad's facing it. And most of these can only go on one way. So make sure you're putting them on the right way. Curvature always goes with the curvature of the rotor. So this is going to be the inside pad. We're going to get it on. Go ahead and squeeze them both on there to the rotor. Now that's what you got. Now we've already got our caliper piston pushed in. Now we can set it back on. Press in your slides a little bit. Now to do this the 100% efficient way, you'd want to pull your slides out, clean them up, re-grease them. Like I say, I'm not doing all that. Put your 13mm bolts back in. Grass everywhere. Tighten them back up. There it is. Got brand new brake pads on there. Now, I showed y'all this side. Ain't no sense in repeating myself for the other side. I'll go do the other side, then we'll come back for the final steps, checking on everything. So I'll be back in just a minute. All right, don't forget to put your cap back on. Now you're done under the hood. We can close it. Go ahead and crank your vehicle Trying to let the door dinger quit. But before you ever drive anywhere, you need to kind of pump your brakes several times to get them pistons back out closer to the rotor. Okay? So, with that being said, watch my pedal. As I go to press it down, it's going to probably go almost all the way to the floor, if not to the floor, the first time. Here we go. It went all the way to the floor. A little better that time. A little better that time. We're getting some firm pedal now. Then you want to go drive it around a little bit. Go ahead and seat them brake pads in, and you're ready to go. Alright, well there we go. We fixed the brakes on the truck. I appreciate you watching. Maybe it'll help some of y'all out. Oh, you wasn't supposed to see that. That's another project for an upcoming video. Whoops, my bad. Anyway, I appreciate y'all watching. Y'all like, share, subscribe. Let me know how it did. Leave a comment. Hit the like button. But anyway, I do appreciate y'all. Appreciate every one of y'all. Y'all have a good one. God bless. And we'll catch y'all in the next video.